This entry chronicles a particularly loathsome bout of train travel made all the more unbearable by a nasty apparition terrorizing the caboose. 7 days on the rails, trading blows with a semi-corporeal Class 3 only capable of manifesting in train cars. Savvy that. Bloke was a conductor in real life and quite frankly, hadn't gotten the memo that his ticket had expired. This passage reminds me of yet another exhilarating case. Psychomagnotheric slime, or mood slime as I called it, can alter the mood of both people and affective objects. Well, you can imagine my surprise when, traveling by horse and carriage, I look out the window to discover the horses have taken off on a tear and the bloody carriage is driving itself. Still, got me where I needed to go. Oh, I'd almost forgotten about this one. I received a letter in the post requesting my assistant in Ghent, a village in Belgium. My Flemish Dutch was a little rusty, and I knew not entirely what I was committing to beforehand. By the time I got there, I discovered the entire bloody village to be overrun by household spirits, semi-invisible little shites. Helpful in practice, but mischievous little hellions should they fall out of routine. Well, this lot had gotten into a sniffer of the local ale supply and run entire families out of their little sad hovels, drunkenly smashing plates. I managed to sequester the bulk and sober them up, but mark my words, good help is hard to find. Oh yes, this one is particularly interesting. Documented during one of my many voyages to America in a small town known as Salem. The lingering trauma and evil of that place was so strong. The air was thick with it. Hundreds of innocents and not so innocents met their maker at the hands of the so-called righteous few. And believe me, the spirits are still angry about it back when I crossed them and to this day. Of course, not all were unjustly tried. I came by an extremely powerful Class 4 possessor sensitive to fire and flame. I lacked your modern ghost trapping methods, but imprisonment in a crystal ball seemed to do the trick. Tragic, this one. As you know, I have no love lost for the living. That world is filled with disappointment, brutishness, and pain. But there are spirits out there that find themselves beyond the veil with no memory of how and why. Not unlike yourself, I suppose, but in their case the status is significantly more permanent. I assure you. In this particular incident, it was a man, once Christopher Gohagen, now a wandering Class 4 corporeal amongst the coastline of Barley Castle. Oftentimes I'm merely an observer, but on this cold, damp evening, the spectre turned toward, reaching out with his translucent hand and asked, "Where am I?" I'll say again that I've seen nearly everything that can be seen, but this moment chilled me. Truly. Spectrally animated clothing! In the absence of a body, the illusion of one is the next best thing. Annoying as hell. Gives the Class 2 non-corporeal ghosties too much courage, if you ask me. I was called to a private ball once, the highest of high society in attendance. Sure enough, in the midst of the dance floor was a pair of pale pink knickers having a twirl. So there I was, wrestling these grand bloomers to the ground without a single check on my dance card to show for it. There's nothing more embarrassing than being beaten up by some filthy underwear. Ah yes, you know, this was the very first time I came across a cryptopathic entity. They manifest freezing temperatures via negative kinetic energy. I say, there are several places I visited in my travels where a spirit like this would have been greatly appreciated. Egypt, French Tunisia, and Siam, to name but a few. Yet, here I was, in a simple pair of +4s, stricken with regret, having neglected to bring even so much as a waistcoat on that excursion, I assure you. Regardless, a discovery is a discovery nonetheless. Plus, it isn't as though frostbite bothers me in my current state, eh? Say what you will about non-corporeal possessors, fire deities, and harbingers of destruction. There is no ghost or demon or apparition as bloody annoying as a damn poltergeist. Classification irrelevant. I've never encountered a poltergeist that wasn't the most dramatic, whinging prat, constantly moaning and don't even get me started about the chain rattling. Get haunted by one of those sods, and you'll wish you were the dead one. One of my many run-ins with Classification 1 spectral entities. By far the least threatening and very ubiquitous. Non-corporeal, which, well, it can sometimes make all the trickier to locate these types of apparitions. Take, for example, one incident where I was beckoned to an abandoned mine. All attempts to rehabilitate the place were being thwarted by a pesky menagerie of Class 1s throwing their voices and causing cave-ins. Took some considerable time to locate the source of their wails. Ho ho, this is quite an interesting excerpt, in that it deals with one of my least favorite topics, a living being. But this is no ordinary bloke, I assure you. Like myself, he devoted himself to the study of the great beyond, but dare I say he was willing to go even further than I. Ivor Sandor. Though we've never met, his work as a quote-unquote surgeon became known to me. Though I can't endorse his faculties as a doctor, I must credit him at least for reaching further into the realms unknown than any other. Well, besides yours truly, of course. As of the first publishing of my compendium, he had amassed quite a cult for himself, hell-bent on opening a metaphysical door to an ancient Sumerian god. Ultimately, his work outlived him. Perchance you've witnessed some of it yourself.